Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I thought I'd show you some of my medium format cameras. For those long-term subscribers, you've already seen these before, but there's a lot of new subscribers, so I thought I'd go through the cameras, talk about how I come across them, how much they cost me and what they are. So let's start off with the Zeiss Ikon Nettar. So this is the Zeiss Ikon Nettar. It's a 6x6 medium format camera, and I believe it's from the 1950s. It's proper old anyway. I'll put the information in the description of the video because I can't remember. I'm not going to go through all the ages and stuff. I just won't remember. I've got memory like a sieve. But this is one of the first medium format camera. Well, it is the first medium format camera that I ever purchased. In fact, it's not this one. I did have another one, but that one started going a little bit funny on the focusing, and I gave that away to a friend of mine who's going to fix it. Well, he has fixed it, and he's now started to shoot it, so that one's gone back into good hands. But this one was a right bargain. I got this on eBay and it was 20 quid. My other one I think cost me about £50, but I got this for £20 on eBay, and it is proper solid camera. It might look silly, you know, for those who've never seen folding cameras before, but trust me, these little babies can pack a punch. It's a 6x6 medium format negative. The lens is a Nova and a Stigmat. I often screw that name up, but it's a Vario lens, and it's 75mm 4.5 lens, and the aperture ranges from 4.5 all the way to f22. The shutter speeds, I've got bulb mode, I've got 25th of a second, 75th of a second, and a 200th of a second. And these ones actually work okay. These shutter speeds, they all work fine. There's also a little small socket for a cable release as well on the camera, so I can put my cable release in there and shoot on bulb mode and do some long exposures. The lens fantastically sharp, and the only thing is that there isn't any rangefinder inside this camera. There's no through the lens focusing or anything like that, so I generally use a small rangefinder adapter that I put on top, and I then have to, with this rangefinder, look through, get the two parallels together. Once they're together and in focus, I just read the information off the back of the rangefinder, dial that into the lens of the camera, and then pretty much 9 times out of 10 I got my focus in. I've shot a couple of portraits on it in the past, but it is a little bit tricky because obviously with portraits you want to get a little bit closer, and then you've got to try and measure your distance. You know, it is touch and go with portraits, but for landscape shots and woodland and stuff, this thing is fantastic. I'll just show you a couple of images that I've taken with this in the past. And there's many different models out there of the Zeiss Ikon Nettar. You can see the model number. It's pretty much hidden in the leather. It's inscribed in the leather, as you can see here. And this particular one is, I can't even see it, 518/16. So they're brilliant cameras to use, brilliant to get into medium format, very cheap. And like I said, they do pack a punch. This particular one's got a slight advancement from the previous Nettar that I had. When I advance my frame, cock the shutter and take my shot, it won't let me take another shot until I've advanced to the next frame. My previous one didn't do that, and sometimes you accidentally double expose. You had to be on the ball where your exposures were, you know, but as soon as you start you can hear a little tiny click and then you can fire off again. So folding camera, Zeiss Ikon Nettar, fantastic bit of kit. I love shooting that camera. So after shooting the Zeiss Ikon and loving it, I decided to have a look at the Franka Solida. I did some research online and I managed to find one on eBay for £50. There it is, the Franka Solida III, I think this one is. Again, another folding camera, 6x6 negatives, nice large negs. Again, you know, these cameras do pack a punch. The lenses are fantastic. There's probably better lenses out there or more better cameras on these folding cameras. I don't know, but this one is brilliant. I've shot this loads of times. I'll show you a few example photographs that I've done on this Solida. And this folding camera has got a Pronto S shutter, and the lens is a Schneider Kreuznach Radinard lens. I'm just butchering these names, guys, sorry. You get the idea. And it's an 80mm lens, f2.9, and the aperture on this one is from 2.9 to f22, so lots to play with. And the shutter speeds go from 1 second all the way to 250th of a second. Unfortunately, my shutter speeds on this camera, if I go below 50th of a second, they kind of get a little bit stuck in the mechanism. It needs a little bit of work doing to it, I think. But saying that, I can still take this on seascapes or up in the woods, even do portraits and shoot at 100th or 50, 100th or 200th of a second, and the shutter works quite well. And again, like the Nettar, this one has also got a fail-safe for double exposure, so you know I'm not missing frames or double exposing my frame. So that's a Franka Solida 6x6 medium format camera. And like I said, if you're getting into medium format and you haven't got a massive budget, as I haven't and I didn't, I went for the folding cameras, cheap and cheerful, and I tell you what, they're very good. And this is the Mamiya RZ67, and another camera that I love shooting. You guys know this camera, it's a fantastic bit of kit, and this particular one was kindly donated to the channel by Kevin McCaughlin out in the States in New York. So Kevin, if you're watching, you know what I've told you about this before. And it's got a 645 back on this camera, so you've got interchangeable backs. This particular one is a 645, and when Kevin sent this to me, he said, I haven't sent you the 6.7 back, he said, I've given you the 645 back, because he knows that I don't print 6.7, my enlarger don't take 6.7 negs, so this was ideal for me. I'd love to get 6.6 back for it. They're quite expensive. I've seen them online, mainly from Japan, but they're quite expensive. But hey ho, you know, I could still crop my squares, and at some point in the future I might get a 6.6 back for it. But it's a fantastic bit of kit. It's so sharp as well. It's really designed for a studio camera, but I take it out on location and do my shots in the woods or landscapes, seascapes. I've done a few portraits on it as well, and it is a fantastic bit of kit. The lens is a Mamiya Sequor Z 90mm lens, and it goes from f3.5 to f32, and it's also got bellows focusing, so there's no focusing on the lens. It works through the bellows, which you have to compensate. If you're going to be extending the bellows, you have to compensate by overexposing the stop, and you look through there to get your viewing. And the shutter speeds on this goes from 400th of a second all the way to bulb. It goes 400th of a second, then it goes 1, 2, 4, 8 seconds, and then bulb mode. So plenty to play with on this, real creative camera. And you guys know I love shooting it. It's got a leaf shutter inside the lens, so I can use the cable release, lift up the mirror, and use the leaf shutter. That way eliminates any shake when I'm taking my pictures. And I'll show you a few photographs that I've done with the Mamiya RZ67 with the 645 back on it. And of the folding cameras that I've got, as much as I love them, if I really want to go and take something that I know I'm going to get great results, this will be the camera that I take out. The folding cameras are great, but you know, with the shutter speeds, I'm pretty much restricted in creativity, I suppose. The next camera is the Holga. This was kindly sent to me by Martin out in Germany, and I was never interested in Holgas whatsoever. It's a bit of a cheapy feel toy kind of camera, and I just never thought to myself, you know, I used to see them online, see other people shooting them. I thought, what do I want to shoot one of those for? It's a toy, surely. I just didn't get it. I just didn't register that this is actually a decent little camera. Again, 6x6 medium format. And although it feels real plasticky and cheap, it actually has got a look in its own class, the Hulga. If you know, you ask anyone that owns a Hulga, they'll tell you that it's soft focus around the edges, maybe a bit of vignetting. The centre of the lens is pretty sharp when you've got your pictures back, relatively sharp anyway. And the lens is plastic as well. It's got a 60mm lens. And for your focal distances, you've got little tiny symbols as a portrait, then a small family, then a group, and then mountains, which would be infinite range. And on this particular one, there's two apertures, which are shown by a sun and a cloud, and that's f11 and f8. Some of these models haven't got two apertures, but this one has. And yeah, it's a pretty cool camera. It is prone to light leaks, and that's why the gaffer tape sits on the back. I use that to hold the back of the camera on, because these clips don't really, they have flipped off before, so I just use the gaffer tape to hold the back of the camera on. And when you look inside the back of the camera, you can see there the mechanism. You know, it is what it is, but it's a creative camera. I love shooting it. It's you know, like I said, it's in a class of its own, and in time I hope to get a small book of prints that I've done with the Hulga. And I'll show you some of those now, some of the work that I've done with the Hulga in the past. And this particular one has also got a 645 back as well, which is a small little cartridge you put on the back and it converts the negatives to 645, but I always have the 6.6 because that's my favourite format. So that's the Holga. Again, what are they, about 25 pounds online to buy, so if you want to get into medium format, there's another option there. Then we get on to the pinhole cameras. I've got two pinhole cameras. One is the Ranica pinhole camera 6.6 that I've got lent out at the moment to a friend of mine, and this is the other one, which is a Lerouge 6.6. I got this from Greenwich Cameras at Spitalfields Market in London when I was there on my birthday, and it cost me about 90 quid. So I'm just looking on the Lerouge website. These are actually 85 euros now on their website. It's a company based in France. It takes 120 film. Obviously, it's a 6x6, again, my favourite format. The focal length is 30mm and the pinhole size is just 0.2 of a millimetre. And the aperture on that is 150. So, you know, using this camera is great fun. It's it is what it is. It is so simple to use. You literally take your camera, aim it or whatever, open the shutter, 1, 2, 3 seconds or whatever, and then close it again. Job done. You can get real close to subjects as well, and the field of view on it is just huge. It's like so wide, it's untrue. You can literally get this close, and that whole camera will be in shot. I wouldn't say in focus, I'd say in shot. I didn't say in focus because they do produce slightly soft focus, and pinholes are prone to getting vignetting around the edges. This one doesn't really, I haven't really seen a lot of vignetting with this pinhole camera when I've been out shooting it, but it's a great easy camera to use. It is fun, you know, and you'd literally just point, open the shutter and close again. The only thing you've got to do is work out your exposures. And if you're interested in learning about how I expose my pinhole camera, I'll put a link in the description to my website. I've got a blog all about that. So that's the Lerouge 6.6 pinhole camera, 85 euros online. You can get pinhole cameras cheaper than that, even 35mm ones, but we're talking medium format today. So that is my medium format cameras. I've only got 5, and you know, you can see the folding cameras that I purchased. They were the first ones that I got, and that got me shooting medium format away from 35mm and experiencing larger negatives, blowing up larger prints in the darkroom, and generally an overall different way of photographing things than I do with 35mm. The folding cameras were very cheap, the pinhole camera was relatively cheap, and also the Holga as well. You know, so medium format doesn't have to be expensive. Obviously the Mamiya's in a class of its own, like your Ranicas and your SFLaBs. But you know, if you haven't got that sort of dough, don't think that you can't go out and shoot medium format, because these little folding cameras and the Holgas are real good starters for you to get into that kind of photography. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, seeing my medium format cameras, and I'll be out soon on another shoot. We'll get back in the darkroom and make some fantastic prints. Okay, so next time.